Good Monday, late morning, everyone. My name is Bill. Welcome to today's episode of Serving Veterans Who Served Us. And as part of today's episode, no surprise to you, to me, and my co-host, Jason Hinsley, it's a short week for all of us. Maybe for some of you, it was a short week for you, maybe last week, because you're in the air, you're on the roads, traveling to the destination where you need to be, spending time with your loved ones and family. So, with all of that said, let me welcome Jason into the conversation. But because he needs this, he deserves it. Let's get his fan base, his fans who have cheered him on because he in return have delivered a value to them. Let's get those fan base and crowds cheering him on. So here we go. Yes, Jason, this is your fan base cheering you on like the rock star that you are. So with all of that said, let's bring him in. Hello, Jason.
It's like every room I walk into is like that.
It should be.
Yeah, yep.
As it should be, right? And then it motivates you to say, hey, maybe I'll jump in to this pit and let them kind of pass me around while I'm laying on my back, right?
Hey, you want me to do some body surfing? Yeah.
So how are you doing on this Monday? Short week for, I think, all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you, first and foremost, are you traveling or are you staying local?
No, we're not traveling this year. We decided just to stay home for once. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Staying home, ordering food instead of buying food, and just taking it easy. I need a rest. Need a break.
Taking it easy, catching your breath, getting some rest is absolutely critical because this time of the year, with these two big holidays staring back at us, I don't know. Sometimes you can get caught up in the holiday chaos, and it just do the thing that you really didn't want.
Yeah. Also, I'm one of those people that has a birthday in this season, which is the worst.
You do? So, happy birthday, man!
Yeah, thanks. But everybody's busy with Thanksgiving and Christmas, so all the people who have birthdays in this time frame, I feel for you. I got empathy because we get the short end of the stick on this one.
Okay, well, like you, Jason, my wife's birthday is today.
There you go. Happy birthday!
So
are you guys going out tonight?
We went out last night with her family. As we always do, it's kind of an annual thing. So we went out last night to, for them to celebrate her birthday. Nice. As for tonight, I don't know what we're doing. I may surprise her, or we may have to come to the agreement of, you know what, honey, let's celebrate you next weekend. Let some of this chaos kind of get behind us.
Oh, see, that's the worst. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
So what's that?
That happens every year.
I know.
Yeah.
And you know what? There are some years where her birthday lands right on or very close to Thanksgiving. Yeah. So if we are the hosting party, it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah. I have a friend whose birthday's on Christmas, and he hates it. He hates
it.
That's got to be terrible.
Does he get double the gifts? I'm curious.
No.
No?
No. Everyone says, well, we gave you Christmas gifts, so why would we give you birthday gifts?
True that. Yeah. What is a gift you're hoping for? I'm curious. Birthday gift.
I'm not big on like physical things, but this year I kind of want I want a new bow. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's
bigger bow.
It's a new bigger bow. No, I want like a repeating bow.
Repeating bow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your wish will come true because your significant other, your better half, is watching this.
Something.
Yeah, maybe she's already got it stored somewhere that you can't find.
Yeah, or we'll be too busy with Thanksgiving to even do anything. So
There we have it. There we
yeah.
have it. There we have it. So Jason, let's start our episode today, right? In this month of November, your birthday month, with
Mhm.
the thing that you do well, and that is talking about real estate. What is going on? What seems to be changing in the business of real estate right now?
Well, we had a lot of people on the sidelines in Chicagoland, and everyone said they were going to wait. I think I said last time we talked, we had about 40 people sitting on the sidelines waiting for the election to finish, no matter where they are on the political spectrum.
Right.
Those people seem to have finally come off the sidelines. Last weekend, all of the open houses we had running, all my junior realtors reported back that they were very busy. I ran an open house myself just to see what was going on out there. It was on a property that we've had listed for about 3 months now, so it's kind of stale at this point, and even that was busy. So it looks like buyers are jumping back in and starting to actively look again. That nervousness has kind of gone away that they had before.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably, it looks like things are picking up. Supply has loosened a little bit and gone up. Prices have not come down. However, I think people's expectations are still to get those high prices. And we can see that just in the raw numbers. So, and my listings, nobody wants to lower prices. Oh, well, we'll just wait and see. So,
okay. So are they even responding to the insulting lowball offers? They're just saying, we'll wait and see. We'll take a pass. Is that kind of the response?
Yeah, they're passing on even decent low offers.
Really?
I got one property that's been, I don't know, it's on the market probably 6 months at this point, and the guy, he is set where he wants to sell his property, and he doesn't need to sell it unless he has to. And he's got a couple low offers, like 50 under list price, and even that, he's like, no, I don't even want to consider it. He won't even counter. So,
oh wow,
yeah, that's just anecdotal. That's one instance, but I feel like a lot of that price kind of firmness is still there. Prices come down a lot slower than they should in the housing market traditionally, because sellers, they see, a year ago we were getting this price, I should get that price.
Right.
That's not how it works. So it takes a while for them to catch up with reality.
Yeah, it's kind of like a delayed reaction, right?
Yeah.
We'll come back to talk about some great examples on that a little bit later. What I'd like to do now is kind of move the conversation to talk about your view looking forward. What do you see as far as supply, demand, and affordability going into, let's say, 2025?
Yeah, supply has to loosen up because people are going to have to move just for work and family events. This is kind of historically record low supply for the last decade. So I can't imagine that tightening up any more than it already has. Even with a lot of people sitting in houses with really low mortgage rates, right? Even if you have a 3% or lower mortgage rate that you picked up during COVID times, if you get, orders to relocate to another job across the country for $100,000 more than you're making now, you're going to move. So
exactly.
Yeah. So, so that just naturally, I think supply naturally is going to have to loosen a bit in the coming year. That's kind of a no-brainer. I think everybody kind of sees that. I'm not a good what's it called? An oracle, I guess, of real estate. If I was, I wouldn't be on this podcast. I'd be in the Maldives on a beach that I own. But so that's kind of the easy one just to predict. Supply's got to loosen up a little bit. And prices will have to come down because mortgage rates aren't coming down.
That's right. I'm right there with you. Supply has to move the needle in order to affect prices. And unfortunately, you're absolutely right. The cost of borrowing money is not loosening up. which is why let's go back to what you dropped earlier, delayed reaction, right? When you and I met in person recently, by the way, thank you for sharing your time with me. Great club that you suggested that we meet at. And by the way, I remember this. When we met, we were grabbing some food together, and you asked about this brisket, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Guess what I'm making for Thanksgiving spread as part of hosting my in-laws? Yeah, brisket.
Yep. Gotta have the brisket. Gotta have some brisket. Good stuff.
We went to a local butcher as opposed to going to the big box warehouse places to get the brisket. So we went to a local butcher, and I don't know, two things I took away from that. It's absolutely great to support local, right?
Yeah.
The local small, medium family businesses. I mean, if you're not going to support them, they won't stick around forever. That's takeaway number one. Takeaway number two, it's all about giving us what we wanted. Why? Because at the big box places, they gave us a big ass brisket that was way too much.
Yeah.
And so this local butcher said, how much do you really need? Talk to me. How many guests, including yourselves, and then give me a snapshot of that head count of guests. Are they big eaters or, the other way? And of course I said, well, here's the total number of guests, including ourselves. And then as far as the eaters, 50-50. 50% of the people are like, I want more. A buffet won't even appease them as well. And the other half is like, no, I got more than enough, right? Yeah. So after I answer the guy's question, he said, okay, here's what I recommend. And then he asked obvious questions, right? Kind of in our business, we're service oriented. He said, when do you plan to start cooking the brisket? And based on how we responded, he said, all right, I recommend you get this amount of brisket and I will vacuum seal it because you're not going to start cooking it until this particular day.
Yeah.
And by the time we walked out of there, my wife looked at me and said, hey, the guy also trimmed the fat off of this brisket so we don't have to do some of the heavy lifting. So there you have it.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll make this brisket. I'll have to tell you about it. And you can say, hey, Bill, someday I want to try that brisket because the place I go to, it's got me kind of enamored with it, right?
Yeah, I love brisket. That's the moral of that story.
Yeah, it was really good. So back to delayed reaction. So you and I both know this. Last month, the central bank, the Fed, announced and started the process to move rates lower.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about this.
Yes.
Yep.
And guess what? Using basketball terminology, it was a big head fake. It actually reversed course. It made the cost of borrowing money, in some cases right now, much more expensive. So bottom line, for all of you watching this episode, either as a live stream or as an on-demand recording, as Jason touched on earlier, what has to happen to benefit you when you're buying is there's got to be more inventory that is coming. I think for both you and myself, maybe not as fast as we want for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
Not fast. And when there's more inventory, like anything in life, right? That's a consumable good. Prices will kind of level out because right now the cost of borrowing money, I don't foresee it really changing too much going into 2025.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend I literally had people say to me, "Oh, what are the rates right now?"
I know.
And it depends on a lot of things, but generally, high sixes, right, is safe to say.
Yeah, high sixes.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and one of these guys that I was talking to, he literally went, "Oof." He's like, "Man, and the Fed just cut the rates too." And I'm like, "Yeah, they cut the rates, but they stalled." Like, and he's like, "How's that even possible?"
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like,
Well,
yeah. People think that they're so connected, but they're
they're
not.
not.
They're
They're
not.
not.
Yeah.
It's when the Fed, the central bank, cuts rates, they cut rates for when banks have to borrow money
Mhm.
from them as the source. They drop that rate, so it's easier for them to say, "Hey, we need to tap the spigot, if you will." But it doesn't mean banks, lenders are turning right around and passing that on to consumers.
Yeah.
The question then becomes why? Well, there's a lot of opinions. Could it be that people feel that what's going to come down the pipe for us is there's going to be more inflation? There's
Mhm.
been some chatter where I've read and heard where the cost of labor in construction is going to go up, right?
And
Well,
food production.
yes. And if all of those things that are critical and important to building new homes is going to affect, builders, well, they're going to move the needle and say, "Hey, we'll still build the same home for you, Jason and Bill, but you're not going to pay less.
Yeah.
You might have to pay more." Yeah. So there you
Yep.
go.
Yeah, there's a lot more inputs to it than just the Fed saying, "Oh, we're going to drop it," and then everybody
Yes.
drops. And there's a
Yes.
lot more
Yes.
that goes into it.
And because I know you enjoy bow hunting, right?
Yeah, I mean, not hunting, but just shooting the bow. Yeah,
Shooting a bow.
yeah,
But would I be correct to
target
know that?
practice. Yeah,
Okay. But
yeah.
would I be correct to know this? Shooting a bow, there's so many variables and inputs for you to shoot that
Mhm.
perfect arrow. Am I
Yep.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Same concept, I think, to
Oh
some
yeah,
degree.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's
Yeah.
important to make sure that the consumers know, that information, because I mean, a lot of people just have a really simple approach. Like when when we're training a new client,
Yeah.
and we tell them for the first time, the PITI acronym, and they've never
Yeah.
heard that before. They think they're just looking at the principal. Oh, I can afford this house. Well, you also have interest and taxes and insurance you need to think about. And you see their eyes open for the first time to that fact. And this is kind of the same thing with the Fed rate. And people aren't following this every day. They're just busy with their lives and working and their family. So
Yeah.
we got to make sure that we clearly explain that to them, because the local news is not doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. The local news only will promote and talk about what's very much surface stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Like the rates went down.
Yeah, yeah. They'll talk
Okay,
about
great.
they'll only talk about surface stuff unless, hey, people, some of you who may be getting this, if you're in the business of media, if you want to go a little bit deeper, reach out to this guy named Jason Hinsley. He can
Yeah,
talk about
please,
a lot of things.
please.
Jason says, "Hey, I would love to have my buddy Bill join me in this media coverage. You know what? Maybe we'll both show up. How's that?"
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Let's get on CNN and Fox and MSNBC. Let's do it. Let's take this thing on tour.
Exactly, exactly. All right, let's now move the conversation to the last conversation point, bullet point of our
Oh, that's
episode
right.
today.
We have an agenda. That's right. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
we have a little bit of an agenda. We got to try to stick to
All
it.
right.
All right.
All right.
So I'm gonna throw a question at you, and there's no wrong answer. The only wrong answer is not answering.
Okay.
So here it goes. Jason, in your opinion, which is more important, having rock star credit or more income?
In my opinion, income.
Bingo. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Money talks.
Money talks. And would you agree? I'm going to add to what you and I just answered there. The more income, in a heartbeat, 30 days at least, you'll be able to swing your credit profile from good to excellent, right?
Yeah.
But on the same token, if your income is not where it needs to be, think about it, people. Your credit obligations, you may be suffering a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I can give you a great example, a real world example of this.
Give me one.
I lived overseas, and this is why I think this. I lived overseas for 5 years without coming back to the US at all, from 04 to
Right.
09. So when I came back, my credit history was literally wiped out. Didn't
Yeah.
exist. You know,
Didn't
I
exist.
was at zero. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't have anything. And so when I went to get an apartment, you know, they were asking me my credit score. They wanted to do background. I was like a ghost for them.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, we can't rent to you." I said, "Well, what if I show you my bank account?"
Yeah.
I showed them my bank account, and they said, "Okay, we can rent to you." Because I had a lot of money in my bank account.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it didn't matter at that point. They knew I was good for the rent. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Which
it's just
is
things like that.
Yeah, which is why I thought for today's episode, you and I, hit the ball back and forth, talk about something that can seem so obvious. Um, and unfortunately, I do spend time with some clients where they get all too hung up on, oh, I gotta improve my credit. And I'm like, no, that just gets you in the door, keeps
Yeah.
you in a conversation with me. But to go a little bit farther, it's really about, hey, how can you pay this loan back over time? And that's really, let's talk about your income and your other debt expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's say I make, say I've got perfect credit, right?
Yeah.
And I come to you and I want to get a loan for a house, and I make 22,000 a year.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to get a great loan. It's just not going to happen. I don't have enough income to cover anything.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's when and where I may have to do what your previous landlord did, which is show me a bank account statement, and then you go boom, and I'm like, okay, well, there's
better have a lot
way.
of savings.
Yeah. Then I'll say, Jason, there's another way. The terms aren't as attractive as the traditional approach. Is that what you want to do? So wrapping up, audience members, the answer to this question, there's no wrong answer, right? But there are some trends. So keep that in mind. For those of you watching us today, in this short week, if you're thinking from what was shared with you today, you know what, I'm ready to do what I want to do, and you need help to get things started, how can you do that? Real simple. Scan the QR codes. There you go. Scan the QR codes that you see here for Jason and myself. We'll gladly engage you in a conversation, walk you through what needs to happen, how quickly we can get you from start to finish to get to the outcome that you want. So, having said that, Jason, thanks for joining me in today's episode, like we always do, right? Consistent is key. Yep. In this short week, you and your family enjoy your Thanksgiving celebration, but more importantly, your birthday celebration. And I do hope that you get the bow that you want.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think I'm getting it. Too close to Christmas. But I do want that brisket recipe though. I need to know how you prep yours. Is there any giardiniera involved?
No. We're not going to make it too spicy. I'll tell you why. Because a segment of our guests don't prefer that. But what I did remember, because I had to go source some of the ingredients, what I remember my wife asking me to get was what was it? Apple juice. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll share the recipe with you, and maybe when you try it, you can tell me, hey, it's as good as the club that I go to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go get some brisket right now. I mean, you've talked about it so much. I have to. I need it.
I got you thinking food, and you're hungry now, right?
You talk about brisket, you got to go get brisket. That's the rule. Yeah.
All right. Audience members, thank you for joining us, sharing your time with Jason and myself. until the next episode that will drop 4 weeks out, we'll see you very soon. Enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday with your loved ones and your family. Peace out.
See you later.